Welcome to our Working with Portraits webinar designed to support the school annual online yearbook program. Our goal this afternoon will be to focus on functions of the yearbook of the program associated with student portraits. Specifically, we'll be reviewing printing class sheets for other teachers or parents to review and correct, strategies for detecting duplicate images, correcting student names, categorizing students, and using the flow function to create portrait pages. This webinar will be approximately 30-40 minutes, so let's get started. So first thing we're going to talk about is printing class sheets. To do that, we're going to go from our main page right here. We're going to come up to Create and then Image Library. Once we're here, we're going to come over to our portraits, and if you see that your portraits are closed like this, just click this little arrow that's pointing at it, click it down, and then you will see all the subfolders underneath portrait. We'll click on a class right here, and then we go straight up. Right here we have of course the add new file, edit, move to the next year, and then right here we have preview. So if we click on preview, it's going to open up a tab, and it's going to open up a PDF in that tab. Here you're going to see the class name, how many images, and you're going to see the images and the names underneath it. Here you can print this off and hand it to the teacher to make sure some of the most important things, make sure the names are spelled correctly and exactly the way they're supposed to be spelled. Make sure the names are associated with the students. Make sure that the correct image is being used. Because right here you have this, Erica has two images, so you want to make sure which image is being used, which one is the remake or the retake, and which one is the original image. So if you want the retake to be used, make sure that that one is being used or corrected, and then make sure that the correct students are in the correct classroom. So while that's being done and all that, we're going to move on to talking about editing class lists and the coverage report. So the coverage report can be found under Create and then Coverage Report. Here is the coverage report right here. Here you can see all the people in your class. And then here you can also make any kind of corrections that are needed, such as, say, Jordan spells his name not A-N, but maybe spells it E-N. So you can make that correction right here, and that correction will also show up with their photo as well. This helps you, instead of hunting which class the student is in and going from folder to folder to folder, you can just go alphabetical order and make all these changes. You can also go right here and say she spells it with I-E, not Y. So here you can sort by last name, first name, here's middle name, grade. One thing that's probably the most important right here is the number of times in book. I understand that there are a lot of schools that try to make an effort to ensure that the children are equally represented in the book, not just their single photo, but in the book and other candid photos and stuff like that. So right here will show you how many times they're in the book. If you click it once, it will go from the lowest number up top to the bottom to the largest number on the bottom. If you click it again, you'll see this little arrow pointing down. You'll see the number of times, the most times on top to all the way to the lowest. So here you can see the number of times that these individuals are in the book. And that's based on if the image is tagged, and we'll talk about tagging images here in a minute. Now, another thing you can do is merge duplicates. So here we click on merge duplicates. We can see that we have some of these individuals have duplicate information. So what we can do is we can click on this one. We can merge it with this one right here. Come down to apply changes. Click OK. And these have been successfully merged. It just makes sure that you don't have like 17 of Caitlin Smith, and you only need one, and then you end up using one image in one place, one image in another, one image in another. That way, the student doesn't come up with like one used once, 17 different names. All right. So next, we're going to go back and we're going to look at our image library. So after you get the list back from teachers, from parents, or whoever, from here we can make different changes to this classroom. So we can come up and they can say, yes, there are two different Erica photos, they're duplicate. So we don't want to use the same photo twice. We just want to select one. And then we can mark this image do not use. To do that, we come up to tag names. This screen will pop up and we'll see this screen again later on. We'll come down here to details. The second option right here says use portrait. We can click on this down arrow and we have an option of don't use portrait or use no photo. We'll talk about use no photo here in a minute. We're going to select this option right here, don't use portrait. We're going to apply that change and click done. So here on the photo we see don't use, and that is basically saying the system will not use that photo. We could also do the same if they come back and say that this photo right here is the retake. And we'll make that a little bit bigger here. If this photo right here is the retake, and that's the one that the parent wants to use, this one was the original. So we can click on this one. We can go to this little blue dot right here. Click on that, come up to details, and then don't use portrait. We have to make sure we hit apply change. If we don't, it's going to have this pop up that says, hey, there's unsaved changes. So make sure you hit apply changes and then done. And then you can get that don't use. It may also tell you that maybe this person right here isn't in the class. So we're going to hover over this person. We're going to click and hold their picture. And we're going to drag them to the class that they're supposed to be. So here they're supposed to be in this Dregs class. Then when you see that move button next to the number of images that are in the folder, then we can just let go. And then that particular person is now in this class. And you can go through all of these to make sure that they are in the right class. Just simply drag and drop them. If you have more than one student, you can select the first student holding the shift key. You can select the last student, and there you have a whole bunch of them that are lit up. And so you can move this whole bunch as one group instead of one at a time. If you have just individual ones, you can click on one holding the control key. You can click on different ones right there, and there you have just the ones that you want, just the particular students, and then you can also drag and drop those students into other folders. Now, if we ever need to make a change for a student, like changing their names for any reason, we can click this little button here, or we can go up to tag names. So we can click on this one right here, tag name. We can come up to this edit button, click continue, and then we can edit this right here. So we can change that, say it's the wrong name. And we could change the name, click on save, and done, and then we have changed the name. Now there may be a time or there may be a student that for whatever reasons, whether it be legal reasons or whatever, may not be able to have their image in the book. They may be able to have their name, but not their image. For any reason like that may come up, you can click on their image here, come up to tag names, come up to details, and then you can come down to this one that says use no photo. So what this will use is it will use a default no photo that's in the system. So we can click on this, apply changes, and done, and then you will see it says no photo. We'll take a look at what the default no photo looks like here a little bit later. So from here, if we ever have a student that didn't get a picture, they missed picture day, you've had retakes 3 times and they just never showed up. So you can come down here to no photo, a folder called no photo. We're going to click this, and here we have various no photos. So you can click and hold and move this no photo into your classroom, but first we got to change the name. So we can click on this, click on tag name. Now before you saw me click on edit right here and then change the name from say first to last. And if we hit save and then done, now you see that we have a bit of an issue because all these no photos right here are now saved as last name. That's because these are all tagged, and so we have to break this tag. In this particular case, in your no photos, we have to break the tag. So what we'd have to do is just click on here, go up to tag names. We're going to click on this little round button called and it says remove. So we're going to remove this tag completely. Come up here to add, and then we can say this individual is named Tom Moore, and then we're going to hit save, and then done. Now you see that everything moved in this image library. The photo is not gone. It is simply moved to alphabetical order because the image library puts everybody alphabetically. So we need to come down here, and then here's our photo right here. So we're going to click and hold. We're going to move our no photo over to this class we were just in, and we're going to let go. We're going to see it's gone. Click over here, and here's our no photo. Once we have everyone, once we have the photos either turned off as do not use or a no photo, or we have the class members, individual students either switched over to a new class or put into a class where they should have been, whatever. Once we're done with all that, we're going to go over and we're going to start preparing the pages to flow. So we're going to go over to plan, page ladder. We're going to click on one of our pages right here. And next, we're going to get a flow element on here, as well as flowing a class. So to do that, first we're going to come over here to flow, this little tab right here on the left. We're going to click on there. And then we have we have 6 options right here. And we have names on top or names on the bottom. We have the traditional names on the left, names on the right, names on the left individual, or names on the right. In each photo has one. So to pull these over, all you have to do Everyone's muted. You're probably hearing the tech behind me. So to pull one of these over, all you have to do is put your mouse over one, click and hold, and then drag it over and just let go, and it's right here. Once you have this over here, you can, in the category, come over here, select a class. So here's the class we were working with. Under name font, name format, it says first, last. That's the first name first, last name last. Then underneath that, you will see 37 images. That's how many images we currently have in this folder. So we need to get this flow element right here prepped for 37 images. To do that, we can come over here to this toolbar that opens up when we click on it. So if we click off, that toolbar disappears. If we click on it, that toolbar reappears. Here on this toolbar, we can change the font of the names. So if we wanted to, we can change that. You can see that those names change. Here we can also change the font size. So we can make the names larger or we can make them smaller. It all depends. And we'll talk about what happens if you see red X's right here with the names. We'll talk about that a little bit later. You can also change the coloring of the names, and we'll explain why you may want to change the coloring of the names here in a little bit. You can also add a stroke style. Simply click this down arrow right here. You'll see a solid line, and it will add a border around each one of these boxes. And you can even make the border a little bit thicker. Right here, you'll also see you can bold the words, italic, underline them. This is you can make it original, all lowercase, all uppercase, or all original case. The one in the middle right here, this one is probably the most used and the most important. This is your flow options. So you click the down arrow right here. And here you're going to get all the portrait options, all the bottom right here. First thing you want to do is uncheck automatic. And the reason why you want to uncheck it is as you reduce like the number of rows, you'll see these boxes are getting taller because they're trying to stay within the size of these of this flow element right here. So by unchecking it, then when we go to reduce the number of rows, you'll see that the rows are reduced and then not being changed. They're not bigger, smaller, or whatever. They're just staying the same size. So that's why you want to undo that. Then real quick, a little tech tip. If you check this little thumbtack right here, if you click on it, you can move this flow element over so that way you can see the whole page. And you can also move it over here so that way you can see the other page too. So here we have rows and columns. We can reduce the number of rows, number of columns. Rows are left and right, columns are up and down. Portrait dimensions, we can make the portraits wider. We can make them taller. Portrait spacing, we can add some of the spacing between the photos here. You can also click inside this little box if you want to fine tune it. Vertical, you can change the spacing up, between them. Name width, you can also change how wide you want the names. Portrait shape, we can make those squares, circles, octagons. It's up to you. Rectangle is the only one we can use this feature on right here. We can round the corners, so you can round the corners just a little bit if you want to. Then this next option right here is your name options. If you don't want the names on the right, you want them on the left, or if you took this one, you put it over here by mistake. So instead of undoing your work, all you can do is come down to here, you see names on right horizontal, and you can just change the direction of the names or which side they're on. You can also even turn off the names altogether if all you want just boxes. So once you have everything that you're happy with, or you want the way exactly how you want them, and if you want to repeat this box on this other page, you can either Control C, Control V, and there you go. You have a duplicate, or with them still clicked, you can come over all the way, starting for the flow options, go all the way over to the right here. This first option says duplicate. You can click on duplicate. It'll duplicate that flow option, right? Well, flow element right there, and you can move it to the other side. Of course, that's when we come down to the page, to the names, and just flip the names. All right, so now that we have everything ready to go right here, we can come over here. We can look at our page start and our page stop. That's what this start and stop means. You'll want to start on page 2, stop on page 2, or you can stop on page 3, 4, 5, how many you need. Some classes, it's like 4 or 5 pages because they had a large class or a large single grade level. Before we do anything else from there, we're going to come up here to either File and Save, or we can hit the Save icon right here. And we want to save our work, because underneath that, you're going to see that we have 30 available positions. But we needed 37. In this case, we could go back and rearrange the boxes here. We can make them a little bit smaller, add another row, another column if we wanted to. But once we have everything ready to go, so we can do that. We can reduce the overall the width, add another one. We can hit save. Then this will turn to white and say we have 42 available positions. Once we have everything ready to go, we can come down here to this teal button and we hit flow. And here we go. Our class has flown into this page. Their images are there. The names will be right here. Here is that no photo. So here is the default no photo right here versus the one that we provide you. So if you ever see these names, so we'll fix these here real quick. If you ever see these names right here, you will see that once we click onto this, this is all grayed out because we can no longer click on any of this or make any of these changes. We have to reset the flow, click on these boxes, come up to our font size. We can click on 8, or maybe we can click on 10. If you want to change these to single, you can just click on here, and then you can just put it to an odd number because it's even number by default. Sure, I can do that. So once we do that, we can click off of that, come up here. Of course, we can hit save. Then we can come all the way down here to the bottom, come over here and to the flow button, which is right here. Then once we click on flow, there we go. Names are back. No red X's. All right. Now, some of the other corrections we could make here. Some schools I know like to put the teacher first. Here we have a teacher that is second. And then we also have, if you look, you'll have a person right here. Her name, she's out of alphabetical order because all these are alphabetical order by last name. Her last name begins with an A, and she's down here. And we also have one student here that her name begins with a B, and it's right here. The student begins with an A. So we have some of these students that are out of order. So some of the easier fixes we can make is we can come over here. So this first student, we can see last name begins with a B, last name begins with an A right here. So we can't click on this little circle with an I. And here's that familiar screen again from the image library. We can come over here to details, and then we can see type. Type has 4 different options. These are different hierarchies. So it tells the program on how to sort these within the flow. In this case, teacher would be number 1, assistant would be number 2, student number 3, and then other is number 4. Other could be like a therapy animal or a class pet. So this type has this student listed as an assistant instead of a student. So we can change that to a student, apply change, and done. Then we'll notice that no change has been made because we have to reset our flow. But then we can come over here to the teacher. We can click the same button, come over here to details. The type has this teacher listed as a student. We can click on the down arrow here, list this person as a teacher, apply change, and done. All the way down here, there we go. Yeah, there we go. We click on this one right here. Nope, not her. Thought there was another one. So we click on this one right here. Click on details, and we got listed as other. We click on student, apply change, and done. From here, we come back over here to this button right here. This is our reset button. We click on reset. And then we come back over and we can click on flow. All right, there we go. We have the teacher is first. So here we have the teacher. The student is back in order. This student is back in order as well. All right, so next. So when setting up your flow element, we're going to bring one over right here. One thing you may want to consider in the names and the which color you choose based on your background. See here we have a darker background and darker names. So something like that, what you would do is you could reduce the number of rows, and then you could just move down. If you have to make these boxes a little bit smaller, you can. But for a case like this where you have darker background and darker names, this is where this color right here, make sure that you're selecting text fill, and then you can select the text right here a different color. That's not very good. Right here we go. So here you can select the text color a different color, just to kind of make sure that's visible. Here you got shape fill, so you can do. Nope, that didn't do anything. But yeah, you can change the color of the lettering right there. So that will give you different contrast with the names and everything else. Now I have this brought up right here. If before you get onto your pages, for any reason, you get to one of your pages and you're seeing a setup like this, what looks like a flow element, this is not a flow element. These are individual images. These are image frames. These are meant for your candid photos, where this one is meant for your portraits. You can tell that because it has a little circle with the shoulders, a little person, so portraits. And then this looks like a frame around a mountain and a sun, so it image a frame. So if you see something like this, you'll just have to delete all these and then move a flow element over there. So here you can flow. We'll show you real quick how to flow to two different pages. So you can come down here to your staff, and in here we can look, and we were at page, here we go. So we can look right here, we were at page 6. So we want to change our start right here to page 6, our stop to page 7. So once we have everything there, we can see we have 72 positions of the 61 positions that we need. We can click on flow. Now you may get a warning like this. It says that there are untagged portrait names. Do you wish to flow? You can hit cancel and then simply scroll down until you find which image is not tagged. Oh, I thought I had one of the first ones here. Here we go. It's at the very end. So here at the very end, you will see this image isn't tagged. So we can click on this right here. We can click on add. Then we click on save. Done. All right. And we'll see if we have to make any changes. No, we don't. Sometimes it helps to click on something else, come back to the staff, and you'll see that the staff member is moved, and we click on flow. There we go. That staff member is now has a name and it's flowed in the correct position. Then real quick, I want to point this out here real quick. Oh, come here. I don't want that. So you will see right here, you have this lone teacher on this row right here, and the rest of these boxes seem to be gone. They're not really gone. If we hit reset, and for any reason you need to add another student and you need a box brought back, these boxes aren't really gone. Just put your cursor over them. Double click on them. You will see that they're just turned off. So we can click on in the upper right hand corner, we click this little eye, and we can actually bring these boxes back. Click off, and these boxes are now brought back. For any reason you need to make any adjustments to these pictures, we do have a crop option. You can put your cursor over one of them, double click. Here in the upper right hand corner are crop options. So you can click that and you can make the picture larger. You can, if you need to make it a little bit larger, move it over, move it up. So you can make small little changes and do the same thing to the other images if you want to as well. So even right here, we can double click on those, come over here and move this student over. Click on this one, move this student over a little bit. So we can make those changes as well. Okay. Now at this time, I'll open it up for any questions. You can type your questions in, or you can ask take yourself off mute and ask your questions. So anything pertaining to today's webinar, flowing, I can take those questions right now.
So we put our teachers' like job title along with their name under their photo. How would you do that on the staff page?
Okay, so for something like that, what you would have to do is to come over here to this text box, and you can either use tagline or caption, drag and click and hold and bring that over here. And then you would just have to um, put it over like a first grade, and then drag it over or drag it underneath like that. Uh, we don't have a place to flow like their job title with them, so you would have to add it manually.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right, any other questions? All right, I'd like to thank you all for joining us this afternoon. This demonstration for the functions related to the creation of portrait pages should eliminate some of the trial and error that occur when working on a yearbook. Printing portrait sheets and editing the class data ahead of time should result in better accuracy on some of the most important pages of a yearbook. Feel free to join us next time as we talk about creation of activity and candid pages. Also, it's very important that you join us for the very last webinar, and that is the finishing your book or getting your book, uh, getting ready for it to submit. That one is the final stages. That one we will talk more about how to finish it, how to find little errors, and fix things in your book. So make sure you sign up for that one, or at least get the audio for it.